Alright, welcome back. So, where we left off, we got our magic up to 30, which is our first stopping point before we can mess around with some other stats, so that's great. For this next area, I'm actually, just in case, I'm going to get some spice. I'm going to get forge. I think it's one of those areas that I think it would be just better to have spice. So we're going to switch that for the age spice. And actually, oh, let me do a little bit more organization. But, actually, before we go on to 2, 3, I'm going to do something first. But let me just drop this one off, because I don't need this. Maybe a little crazy that I'm doing such strict inventory management, but I think it makes things a little bit simpler when you're on the go. Now, before we continue, we are going back to the smithing grounds, because we have a little errand to run. So we are going to come down to the blacksmith, this little guy, and we're going to talk to him.
What be your need? If it be a blacksmith, then show me your steel. If not, then head straight for the door.
Let's talk to him again.
Souls. They're like powerful spirits. Some can even bless weapons. But doing so requires a powerful flame, invigorated by a demon's soul of scorching heat.
Scorching heat, you say?
I told you that I'm busy. Each ore has a grade. Mighty weapons can only be blessed by ores of high grade. The highest grade of all is a pure ore that shines in utter brilliance. A spirit force that delights the eyes. The highest grade of all.
Okay, let me walk away and come back. I think we have to trigger. Oh.
Yes, that's the one.
Here we go.
Searing demon soul. With it I can forge new breeds of weapon. Bring me your most powerful souls.
So, interestingly, the boss soul that we got from Flame Lurker, the Searing Demon Soul, its sole purpose is to be given to this blacksmith. And in doing so...
A wise choice. You've done well to put your trust in the great blacksmith, Ed. Bring me a demon soul, and I shall use it to bless your weapon.
So now I believe we have the ability to create weapons out of boss souls, which I don't have any on me right now, but I think that that's what that enables. Though of course for our purposes, I'm really interested in upgrading the Crisp Blade and the Crescent Falchion, really, and that's all I'm going to be doing. But you want to do that for other weapons. Let's see, I think it's about time to go to the underground temple. There is something that I'm going to just bring your attention to for a second, and then actually I think the next video I make is going to be about tendency, because this is where it kind of starts coming into play. But I just want you to take a note of something real quick. I think if I look here, yeah, let's look at our tendency now, and you'll see why this is going to come into play. So you could see that starting from the right, the Valley of Defilement, moving to the left, the circle underneath the archstone, starting on the right, it's just black and white, black and white, black and white. Now, all of a sudden, at the Digger King, we have this bright circle. And if we go to the Covetous King, we have a fairly bright circle as well. This is an indicator of world tendency. And I just want to bring your attention to it because after we complete this video, you will see a change in the color of the Digger King's tendency, and it as an indicator of world tendency. And the reason why the other ones are not a color is because they're at this neutral world state. But as you kill bosses, it affects tendency. And we're about to get to the last boss in the Digger King Archstone. So I just want to bring your attention to that now. After this video, I think it's about time for me to make a tendency video in and of itself. So I actually think the next video is going to be a tendency video, and it's going to be perfect because we're going to encounter our first tendency events. So it might be the perfect time to really talk about that. But I just want to bring your attention to that for now. Now, this area is just going to be a boss. You could also see that tendency indicator when we start. So this area is just a boss now, the underground tunnel. Not a total gimmick boss. I guess, yeah, kind of a gimmick boss, actually. But it can be tricky. You know, so this might take me a couple of attempts because there are just... Sometimes it's all about stealth, and sometimes you're seen and you don't quite get it right, or you don't run fast enough, and basically if you're seen, you're probably dead. I mean, sure, you could survive maybe a hit, but probably dead. So, because health actually kind of doesn't matter in this, I want my fragrant ring because I'm going to be using magic, but I'm going to put on the thief ring. I don't know if this is really going to help much, but it might just help a little, so I'm going to do it. And, you know, honestly, health items don't really matter, but I'm going to leave them on for now. I'm actually just going to leave on the weaker one, and I'm going to leave on some spice. Spice is going to come into play because we're going to be clearing obstacles, and I'm going to be using magic to do that. So that's why I sort of bought some spice to have a little bit more at my disposal for this. I think we are... Lots of bloodstains here. Which, I don't know, what are these bloodstains doing back here? Somebody fighting Flame Lurker back here? That is crazy. What? Okay. So... let's see, what else? I think that's about it. So this is a pretty epic boss, but we're going to try to get through it, and I wonder if I should equip it. No, I'm not going to equip it now, but the Hands of God are going to come into play. So we are going to be ready to equip those. But just keep that in mind. Okay, this is pretty intense. Let's do this. So its eyes are an indicator of whether you've been seen. Yellow eyes mean that it's looking for you, and red eyes mean you've been seen. Now, it's kind of a... I'm not going to get that. Actually, I don't think you could get that item yet. Kind of a gimmick because you're basically going to be hiding behind these poles. But if you're seen, you're screwed. So, there are these columns. If I could, like, get my aiming game together. It's a little hard to free aim magic, but anyway, you want to clear these columns. Okay. And we're going to be running when he turns. Oh man, he saw us from that? Are you kidding me? Oh, okay. Okay. But he's very sensitive to seeing you, so you really, really got to be careful. And that's why, I mean, you can kind of see how this is going, right? Like, we're going to try to clear this stuff out, and... but, you know, there is definitely a chance that, I mean, I think I have actually died to this boss more than any other... I don't know. You'll see. I'm not going to talk as much. We'll kind of get through this level. I'll point out things that are important, but... could be seen. Alright, let's do this. Okay. I know I just said I wouldn't be talking, but... this is one of two things we're going to use to take him down. But anyway, I'm going to not talk now, so y'all can enjoy. All right. So we got him down to just a little bit of health, and I am actually going to put on the Hands of God because there is... This is optional, of course, but there is an achievement for killing this boss with the Hands of God. So I'm just going to do it. Now you want to watch out because it's still breathing fire a little bit, so if you get close, you just want to be careful. Like that, like throw right there. Oh, you know, I don't know if I even have the stats to do this, but let me... Or maybe it's just the final hit? Well, either way, I may not actually have the stats to do this. But I'm gonna try, because I think... I'm just gonna give it a shot. Oh, whoa, I should, like, heal up real quick. Okay. So I think... You know, maybe I just don't have the... Maybe I just don't have the stats for it. Let's try it again. But either way, at least you know that that's like something that's possible here. I think it's decreasing a little bit. Oh, oh no. Almost not even worth it, but I'm, you know, for the sake of it, I'm just gonna do it. See, that guy's got his Hands of God on too. Oh my god. Now let me do this too. This is like totally unnecessary, by the way, everyone. So I'm just doing it for the sake of argument so that you could see that this is actually an achievement here, but this just doesn't seem worth it. Ah, screw it. Let's just take this guy out. That was just taking way too long, but the point is, there's an achievement with that. Should you want to get it. So, aha, you've obtained the soul of an archdemon. The thick, colorless fog shall oppress you no more. So if you all remember, we were at an impasse, right? We couldn't get past a fog gate back at the Covetous King Archstone at 1-3. And it sounds like now we can. Of course, I think I'm going to continue on and go to World 3-1 and for, you know, do World 3, then World 4, and then I'll probably come back, I think, to do 1-3, though there's a very compelling reason for me to do 1-3 right now. Master's Ring, probably not going to be using that one too much, but so I'm gonna think about it. There, like I said, there's a very compelling reason why I would do 1-3 now, but I'm leaning more toward finishing all the worlds. and coming back and kind of going up that path at the end. It makes a little more sense. For now, though, back to the Nexus. You know the drill. Get back in soul form. We're gonna do some inventory cleanup and some upgrades. And how are we on time? You know, I'm tempted to do the tendency discussion now. Just go and do that stuff. Or at least part of it, just so that you have a little bit of a sense of so you could start to get the sense of tendency and what that really means. Then I might actually... that's an interesting thought. So I think I'm actually going to go do some tendency events. We'll see. Okay, first I'm going to just do this. What do I got?
I was worried sick. What's the world like outside with brave souls like you confronting those? Perhaps it won't be long before things return to normal. What a fine day that would be.
I'm going to keep Spice on. I drop off the Dragon Demon Soul. Okay. Try to think. What would be a good next upgrade? You know, it's really, really tempting to get something in endurance, because that is just such, it just make things so much better. But I actually think, I actually think I'm gonna get my faith up to 16 first, because I do want, so there's a talisman that I would really like to get, and I think, and there's one, uh, and actually, we actually have a chance of getting that talisman somewhat soon. I guess I could still use it, but I think it requires, um, I think it actually even requires like 18 faith. So, hmm. One thing that I do want to do though is, so right now, sorry, I thought I was on my on my stat screen. So, okay. One thing I think I'm going to get at least, so I have faith up to 12. Hmm. I'd really like to get the Talisman of Beasts. But hmm. Wonder how much, what was that short bow? Is it 16 strength?
I was worried sick.
Ooh, 18 strength. Wow. I mean, is that really worth? Decisions, decisions.
We are indebted to you.
I feel like I would really like a bow because it would kind of add to my range, my whole range thing pretty nicely. So we're at 2018. Decisions, decisions. I actually think, as silly as it sounds, I'm gonna do a little bit. I'm gonna get my strength up. You know, it also helps my attack power. You know, so I think it's actually not a bad um not a bad call. And I could make the bow available. Just get that up, and then I think next I'm going to probably get my faith up to either 6, maybe 18, and then I might start going back to get my vitality just really high up, like to 40, and then probably get my intelligence up to like 30, and then just start working on magic again, get that up to like 50. And we might not even be able to do that in new game, but that's sort of ending. If I could end new game right around 50 magic, that would be like pretty OP. I mean, at that point, we could potentially be one-shotting bosses, honestly. Even before that, actually, we could be extremely OP by that point. So, gonna put it into strength. Tough decisions, you know. Upgrades it's tough. But I'm gonna do that now. And then, how are we on time? I actually think I'm going to go check this. Oh, but it'll affect the world tendency if that'll be quite a run. Because I would have to make it all the way back. So what I'm thinking over right now, because as a little introduction to world tendency, so now that we've beaten all the bosses, I think our world tendency should be at pure white. I'm trying to think if there was any NPC we had to kill. In the Digger King in Area 2. And so, because it's pure white, different things happen, right? Oh, I did not mean to do that. So different things happen when a tendency is pure white, which it looks to me like it is, like really glowing bright. I think that looks pure to me. I mean, we'll see in a second, but so I'm going to go back and just check. If it's not pure white, I might have missed an NPC that we have to take out. But basically, I'm just trying to think, because let's just do it now. Okay. And I'll do my best to explain along the way. It is a little bit confusing, but okay. When you're in, let me see, do I need anything? Oh, you know, actually, first, let me go back to the underground temple, and we're gonna grab something that we need. Oops. What am I doing? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about world tendency. And we'll talk about character tendency at a different time. But for now, our goal is to stay pure, like where we are with our character tendency. And the way that I mean, you know, we eventually actually want to go to like a pure white character tendency. But if you go around killing NPCs, like if I went into the Nexus and just started slaughtering people, then that would affect my character tendency, which I'm not going to do yet. Well, we'll see. But I want to get this. Now, for those of you who have played Souls games, this looks pretty familiar. I think I want to say my weapon of choice on my build in Dark Souls 2 was this look at this thing. I mean, obviously I can't use it right now, but this thing is this thing is pretty sweet. I mean, it's not even a knife, it's just like a block of, I mean, this thing is sweet. You know, if I was doing a strength build, I don't know, maybe I would go for that. But okay. So, back to world tendency. Okay, so when you're in world tendency, so beating bosses, doing things like beating bosses, sometimes you have to beat phantom NPCs. Doing these sorts of events actually pushes the world tendency toward pure white. And part of the reason why I'm staying in soul form is because doing things like dying in human form changes it away from a pure white tendency. And a pure white tendency is harder to achieve because it requires defeating bosses, right? So I think in some ways you really only have one shot at getting a pure white tendency in each playthrough, because you have to beat all the bosses for the you know. So if right now I went out in human form and started dying, I wouldn't be able to get back to pure white tendency until I got to New Game Plus. So my goal is to get all. So what I'm going to be doing, I think, in this playthrough is to be getting all of the worlds to pure white tendency, and then I'm going to go through and do the pure white tendency world events, the things that change when you're in pure white. And then I'll probably come back later and make a whole video of me just doing shifting all the worlds to pure black and doing all the pure black tendency world events. I think I'm going to do it that way. And I could do it all right now, but I'm just going to be leaving the worlds as sort of white for now. So anyway, when the world is all white, it actually weakens enemies. I think you have a greater attack power. That's just generally with so just across the board, when you are all white tendency in a world, enemies are weakened, you have better attack power. When it's a black world tendency, and there's actually a scale, so it actually goes by percentage. So, you know, 25% white world tendency, 50% white world tendency, 75% pure white, you know, so, so it scales. So enemies get slightly weakened, slightly more weakened, even more weakened, etc. When you're going into the black world tendency, it's the opposite. Enemies are getting strengthened, but the amount of souls you get increases. So you actually get more souls killing enemies in a pure black world tendency. Okay, so that's sort of across the board. Now, there are certain events that that also happen, I think, across the board when you're in all white and all black. Or at least when you're in all white, I think. I'm trying to remember when. I think it's all black is when they appear. Actually, never mind. So never mind. I was going to go into. So there's actually a key sort of enemy that shows up that I was going to talk about, but it's actually when you're in pure black tendency. What's called a primeval demon appears, but we'll talk about that later. For now, for our sake, so we are in the Archstone of the Digger King. So we're going to go check to see whether we have triggered an all-white world tendency event. And what happens is when you're in pure white, if you go back to Tunnel City, we're just going to kind of run for it. Wait, I have this wrong. So I know that was a little convoluted, but basically the point is that across the board in all areas, there's certain common changes that happen with world tendency. You know, enemies being weakened or strengthened, more souls, more attack power. And then there's also specific world events that happen in specific areas, whether you're pure all white or pure black. And it's usually that certain NPCs appear, certain areas open. There's just certain things that happen unique to that world. And in this area, the unique thing that happens is I think we get a little visit from an NPC. So we are going to go check that out. Who appears right down here. And there we go. Look at this guy. Now this is because we're in a pure white world tendency.
Oh, there you guys. You nearly frightened me to death, creeping up on me like that. My name is Scurver. I seek treasures of the unknown. I'm impressed you've come this far. Were you guided by a sixth sense? Or just plain lucky? Either way, you're quite something. Shall we put your luck or skill to the test? Have you heard of the temple below? It is
Yeah, I killed a dragon there.
molded by the ancient burrowers to appease the bones of dragons. As a precaution, a broad sword which can crush the bones of drakes is stored in
Sounds familiar.
Truth told, it's the laughing stock of many a swordsmith. They say it's as blunt as a bludgeon. A dull blade meant to slay a dragon. Curious, is it not? I would search for it myself, but I'm afraid I'd fare poorly against the demons. If you happen to come upon the sword, please let me have a look at it. This place is in the bones of dragons, exuding awe. A dream come.
So clearly he's talking about something that we now have. So I'm going to put on the Dragon Bone Smasher and talk to him again.
Oh, wonderful. The arts of swordsmanship applied in a perfectly useless manner. Look at that. Oh, don't mind me, thank you. It was a pleasure. Please take this as a small show of thanks. Take care of this one, will you? She's a stunner.
So we got some pure greystone. We won't be making use of that really, but you do get pure greystone there. Oh, forgot to drop down on these items. I was going to do that, but I think, like I said, I think they're soul items. You could check it out, but I was going to drop down on them. But anyway, well, we're actually going to be back here, so if I remember then, I will grab them. But for now, so that is really what we're going to do as far as world tendency in this area for now. Eventually what we want to do is push this world all the way to pure black, and do all of those tendency events. Though I'm kind of thinking I do that at the end of the video series and really just come back and go through all the worlds, turn them all black, do all the black world tendency events in one swoop, as opposed to me now turning this to all black, doing the events, then going to World 3. I think it's a little disjointed or something, but I think I'm actually going to come back and handle all the black world tendency events all at once, I think, is what I'm going to do. So, with that said, we are going to go back to the Nexus. So that gives you a little taste. You know, it's really hard to talk about tendency, and I was thinking about doing it just an entire video only about tendency, but I think it makes more sense to just see it in action. So that kind of explains why we're staying in soul form, right? If we were walking around in human form and we died, then I wouldn't have been able to do that pure white tendency event, because I wouldn't have been able to potentially achieve that pure white tendency. So that's one reason why I'm staying in soul form like this. And when I come back around, which is what I think I'm going to do all the black tendency events all at once, probably toward the end of the playthrough. That might be kind of the second to last thing I do. Or something. I'll have to think about it. But for now, you know, that gives you a little taste of tendency, and you know, I think I haven't talked to this guy yet. How absolutely silly of me, being a mage.
Are you here to face the demons? If so, please free Sage Frake the Visionary from his cell in Latria. I will help you however I can. I can teach you elementary spells. Sage Frake is a gleaming hope for humankind, but I have not the power to save him alone.
So, how silly of me. I mean, it was actually, I think there was a reason why I hadn't come here yet, but we're actually headed to Latria next. So this is actually the perfect time to talk to him, because World 3 is where we're going to free Sage Freak, or Frake, or however you say it. But anyway, this is where you would come to attune magic, which is to change. So right now you can see at the top we have 3 memory magic memory slots, and Soul Arrow only takes 1, and it costs 5 MP to use. So this is where you would attune, meaning you could add or remove magic to slots. See, I removed it. Now I have it. And this is also where you can learn magic. But, you know, the part of the reason why I hadn't really used this is, or come here yet, is there's really nothing, you know. Water Veil, that might have been good against, I don't know, Flame Lurker or in the Tunnel City, but, you know, I had the Flame Resistance Ring. Cloak, might have been good with the Dragon King, but I had the Thief Ring. Flame Toss, it's just not a very, you know, Soul Arrow is such a good starting spell that, you know, an enchant weapon, I mean, we have a buff we could use. We also actually have a Crescent Falchion, so we're not really, kind of not really using this, and it's 5,000 souls. You know, so I hadn't really had a need to come here yet, but I should have, just being a mage, come to show you all that this is where you, this is the start of where you would start to get new spells. But Sage Freak, we are going to be rescuing, I think, in the next video, if I'm not mistaken.
Be careful how you use it.
Which actually reminds me, I just want to quickly check. So the left side is for magic, and the right side is for miracles. But I don't think I have... Oh, okay.
Oh, you must be another disciple of God. I too am on a quest to fight the demons in the name of the Lord. May I share God's power with you? Do not be bashful. We are both cut from the same cloth.
So for a second I thought I wouldn't be able to see him, because I think you need... I guess it's, you only need 10 faith and 10 magic for these people to appear, respectively. But yeah, I guess I have 12 faith, I guess. So I don't know why I was thinking that I wouldn't be able to come over here yet, but anyway, this is where you learn miracles, and you can attune them, right? So I don't have any miracles, but I have 1 miracle memory, and I believe faith increases both memory and the strength of miracles. But I do want to show you that. So you remember I said the Archstone, that we would find a better alternative, right? So this is it right here. Evacuate. It's 20,000 souls, but honestly, this is something I'm gonna get. Not right now, but at any point you want, you could return to the Nexus, and it, you know, that's it. You save all your souls, go back to the Nexus, with all your souls, and this really does come in handy. It's a quality of life thing. So I will be coming back to get this. Not now. I'll probably get it when I get to a good farming location, a few videos from now. But this is something I'm going to come back for. This is going to be probably one of the only miracles I have. I might get some other ones. And the reason why I wanted to bring my faith up to, I think, 18 is to use the Talisman of Beasts, because the Talisman of Beasts allow you to use both miracles and spells. So right now, my Catalyst, I believe, would not be able to cast a miracle, which would mean you would have to carry a Catalyst and a Talisman. So again, a quality of life thing, but that's really why I'm going to be putting some into faith, for that quality of life thing. So I don't have to carry two different things to use miracles and spells. But anyway, this video has become a little long, and it's a little bit more of an instructional type video, I guess, but there's just important points to cover. I think I can do an upgrade, almost at an upgrade. Okay. How much do I need? 100? 400. I think I'm just going to end it here. And got Patches back. Let's talk to him.
Wow, I remember you. Well, I'm glad you're here. I found some really tasty trinkets. Well, we've long been acquainted, so I'll give you a good price, eh?
Patches the hyena. Just look at that face. So he sells things. I actually think they're a little bit more expensive than... Like, he sells fresh bites for 800. I think the blacksmith sells it for 300. So, got a little bit of a premium, but he does sell archstone shards. So if you're not going with the evacuate miracle and you want to get back to the Nexus, there's very few of these in the game. So he does sell one of these. Fragrant ring, which we already have. Luckily, it would have been 60,000 souls. And some other things we don't really care about. Okay, so I've gone on and on. We are about ready. Okay, Patches. We are about ready to go into the Archstone of the Tower Queen, which is perhaps the creepiest of them all. So I'm going to stop the video here, and when we pick up, we are going to hop into World 3. So I'll see you all soon.